Boy, that sure got everything quiet.
What's happening is there's a lot of background noise in a lot of attendees' rooms, and that automatically brings them to the front.
Yeah. So Doug, I got a little question for you.
Okay.
I was going to, for the show and tell, I'm going to use the same show and tell I had for the West Michigan Turners Club. But I thought what I might do is show the turning using the webcam and then do a screen share of the same piece so that, it might encourage some people to do the share screen for their show and tell.
Okay. That's fine.
So that'll take a couple, 3 minutes to do all that.
G'day, Doug.
Yeah.
It's Phil Irons.
Oh, Phil Irons from Great Britain.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome to our meeting.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Hi, Phil. Glad you could make it.
Hey, Don. Yeah, good to see you. I can't stay for very long because I've got to do something this afternoon, but I can stick with you for probably another 3/4 of an hour. So.
Okay, great. Phil, you might want to mention a little bit. Doug is our Zoom guru and all that stuff, and you might want to tell him a little bit about what you have planned for Zoom meetings, and he can post something on our links and get people over here to tune in and send you a few bucks for watching.
Sure. Yeah. So I'm just setting up my trying to get my AirPods as a speaker. Now, why won't it work? Okay. Yeah, Doug, Don watched my presentation last weekend. It was the first one I've done. It's something that I want to do more of, certainly because I've been kind of forced into it. I did look at it about a year ago, but the technology kind of baffled me back then. And with some help from other people, I've got myself sorted. And what I've got now, I can show you the setup that I've got.
Okay.
So I've got set up myself up with some LED light panels. I've got one either side of the lathe. I've got a stream deck so I can show. I'm looking at a DSLR now. I wanted to do this with as best quality as I could.
Yeah. Is it an Elgato stream deck?
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. So I've got my iPad here. That one. This is the shot you're seeing now.
Okay.
And then overhead, I've got my iPhone 11, which I can zoom. There you go. So I can get double 2 times zoom on it. It is on a flexible arm, so if I do touch it, that's on my. You're looking at my MacBook Pro now.
Okay.
That's where the iPhone is. So it can, if I nudge it, you can get a little bit of vibration there. But so that's the setup I've got. Don watched my presentation last weekend. It was just a what have I done with it? A mallet that I did. Go get it. So this was the project I did. Is that on the overhead? Yeah, that was the project I did last weekend. Just what I call a turner's mallet, using 3 tools: roughing, gouge, skew, and a fluted parting tool. Took me about an hour. I ran through all the different drive centers, tail centers that I use, and described all the tools that I was using. And just wanted to, safety is my big thing. I try and turn as safely as I possibly can. My crusade, my hair, my crusade is to get people to use chucks properly, so that they are using them where the jaws prescribe a perfect circle. And you can do all sorts of stuff with that. What I want to do in the future is, I wrote a book in 2000 that was out of print now. What I was going to do is run through the projects in that, double some of them up, because some of them are really simple, and then get on to my real work, my hollowing, coloring, texturing, decorating, that sort of stuff. So that's my plan.
Good. So with the Elgato Stream Deck, do you ever have any problems with that, like freezing up on the master output screen, or not? You haven't had a problem with that?
I haven't yet. I've
Okay.
only had it. I mean, I got this system running 12 hours before my demo actually happened.
Okay.
I was going to just use Zoom with three. Hang on, 1, 2, 3. 3 devices, 4 devices. I was going to use 2 iPads and my iPhone and my laptop, and switch on my laptop through them. So, but I got this system up and running. I'm using the streaming software I'm using is called Ecamm Live, which is a Mac only system, which I've still got to. So I'm just going to turn your volume up a little bit. I've still got to get a bit more practiced with. It's been a pretty steep learning curve doing all this, and you get to well, I'm 60, and the brain doesn't absorb information as easily as it used to. After about an hour, it's frazzled.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm getting there. It's fun. I'm enjoying it. Really enjoyed my presentation last weekend. Got some, Don can tell you, but I got some really, really good reviews. 116 people watching from far afield as Australia, Canada, the States, Portugal, Norway, Finland, France, Germany. So, yeah.
Yeah, I got as a matter of fact, I got a link to. Do you have another one on tomorrow, Sunday? Another show?
No, that's Pat Carroll, who is the guy who was the co-host for me.
Okay.
We're kind of working together. The one I did yesterday was through the last Sunday was through the AWGB, and they are doing Talk to the Turner on a twice a week basis, Tuesdays and Friday nights at 7:30 British summertime, and that is picking up. They're getting quite a few people joining that, and then they're trying to do. I don't know if it's going to be every Sunday, but this will be the third one, which is proper live demo rather than just a bunch of Turners having a chat, which is what the Talk to the Turners thing is. It's a bit more than that. It's people visiting. If you're visiting people's workshops, it's hosted by a different Turner. They do 2. I think they're now doing 2 sessions, so you get an hour each. My workshop share is next Friday night at 8:30 our time. So I've got a bit of a tidy up.
Yeah.
It's not too bad,
Phil, are you going to have some pay-per-view demos too, or are these all?
Yes, that's the idea. I've been in the past. I've done a lot of teaching. I'm in my workshop here. I've got. I'll give you a quick tour on the overhead. That's okay. So that hasn't come up, has it? Right. So as I said, it's a bit of a mess. This is behind my bandsaw. Well, pillar drill, bandsaw, chuck wall, Tormek, compressor. The white box is the compressor. I've got a Sweet 16 here, VL, Big Mark VL 100, VL 300, dust extractor, another VL 300, and another 300 sitting there. A few pictures, a few bits of work that are unfinished. Waiting to be finished off. So that's my, and here's my setup. So there's a DSLR laptop, complete with veneer back, lights, and iPad there.
Is your iPad? Is that just a monitor?
No, I'm using that. I'm using the camera
Oh, okay.
on my iPad. That's my tailstock shot. So that's
Okay.
that shot. So yeah, so that shot is the DSLR, the Canon DSLR. We call them 600Ds. I think you guys call them Rebel 6s or 6Is or something.
Yeah.
With a 1755 lens on it. That's my iPhone 11, and that's just my MacBook Pro. But I don't use that during the my streams. It's just so I can see what's going on. But it gives you sort of a general idea of what it's like.
Phil,
Right.
are you using the Epoch cam software hardwired to your laptop?
No, my iPhone is on wirelessly, and then I'm using Shoot, another app called Shoot on my iPad, and my DSLR is connected straight into the hub, which is connected to my laptop.
Thank you. I'm using Shoot and Epoch, so they both work real well.
Yeah. I was struggling with iTunes when I connected both of them up. iTunes didn't know whether it was Arthur or Martha, and kept trying to update one and then the other, and in the end I figured out how to stop it doing that. But it was took a little while and a bit frustrating, but got there in the end.
All right.
I know the demonstration last Sunday encouraged me so much, I went ahead and joined the AWGB.
Oh, cool. So you watched my demo, did you?
Yes, I did. You actually answered a lot of my questions in regards to your camera setup, because I'm all Mac-based just like you are.
Cool. Yeah. I've been Mac since day one, and that's about 25 years. So I'm not good with them. You know, they work. That's what concerns me.
Yeah, they're supposed to be dependable, right?
Say again?
They're supposed to be dependable, right?
Yeah. It's usually the operator that's the problem. So, yeah. So, Doug, does that give you an idea of what I'm about?
Yeah. That's gives me a really good idea. We just purchased a system for our guild to use for doing remote demos, and it's something we will use in our physical meetings when we get back to physical meetings later. But we've got a couple cameras, a new laptop, and an Elgato Stream Deck, which we were doing some testing yesterday, and my screens kept freezing up, and I don't know for sure what was causing it. I suspect it was my Elgato Stream Deck, and possibly because I had it on a USB extension.
Okay.
So I took the extension out, and I'm hoping that today we won't have issues. If we have issues today, I'll be disconnecting it and I use vMix. This is my software program, so I'll just disconnect that and use straight vMix to try to get through the demonstration.
Okay. Yeah, I'm doing this through Ecamm.
Okay.
So at the moment, my screen, I'm watching Zoom, but if I just go to my Ecamm Live, so I can do trick stuff like tickers and stuff like that.
Yeah, I have
and then
all
drop
that.
in
Oh yeah.
pictures of my work.
Okay. Well, let's.
Hey, Phil, when you get a list of all your demos and that, maybe you could send that to Doug and we'll be able to post them here.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. It's because it's all, I wanted to make sure I got the thing set up and working before I, let's get rid of that one. Hang on. Is that still, that's better.
Now you're back.
Yeah.
Of course you.
You keep going when you go away.
I know. I'm trying to figure out what's changing that. When I share the Zoom screen, it does that, and then I don't know what's causing that. I'm still trying to figure that out. So
okay, a bit
if I
disconcerting.
put me on, it doesn't do that. But I'm streaming, and streaming only shows what's on my output screen here. So when you're talking, people are looking at me unless I try to put you on the screen. And I see I can share if I put it into gallery view, then I can share that, and it doesn't seem to tile out.
Okay.
Online though, they got to figure out who's talking out of the squares there, But I might have to settle for that when we go into the meeting, just so that when people are talking, I can get them on the screen. So.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. With regards to my dates, what I'm going to be doing mainly is using Instagram to do the advertising, and that switches straight to Facebook. So, and also on my website. But it's a lot of work behind the scenes. This is the easy bit, doing this bit, and the turning's the easy bit. It's all the rest of it.
Yeah.
That's the learning curve, and that's the bit I found with computers and this sort of stuff. If that you've got a row of 25 switches, and one of them is just slightly not on, nothing works, and you've got to find that one that's just slightly not on, and it can be really frustrating. But
yeah. Fortunately for me, I have a lot of experience with computer and audio video setup and stuff like that. So
you have to tap on the dial-in audio.
Yeah. So let's see, it's 9 o'clock. I guess I need to start my meeting. You can hang out for a while though, Phil, and watch.
Sure. Love to.
So here we go. I'm going to cut to our. All right, hello everybody. Welcome to our May general meeting. My name's Doug Brinks. I am the president of the Grand River Woodturners Guild. We want to thank everybody for tuning in today. I think we're streaming live on our Woodturners on our not our Facebook page, but on our YouTube page. So if there's if anybody makes a comment in there, I might see it come up here and be able to make a comment on that. We have some special guests in the audience today. We have Phil Irons from Great Britain watching in for a little bit here and talking about his setup. He's doing demos over there. Haven't seen any other. We've invited a few other turners to pop in here. I haven't seen them show up yet. So if you're out there in the great internet world somewhere and you want to join our organization and become a member, we do have some members only demonstrations that we are promoting that will be coming up. We've already done. We had Emiliano last month, the Hawaiian woodturner, and we have other professional turners in the works.
For some reason, I can't hear your phone call anymore.
So
I'm going to hang up and try to.
Okay,
just
we got
do the
Ross
Zoom
Leapers
thing.
here.
All right.
So let's see, where was I at? So yeah, anyways, it's on the screen here. If you want to become a member, it's $25 to join our organization. You can send an email to our link that's shown on the page right now. GRWTG. Let me see. I'm gonna mute all the mics here, and then I'm gonna unmute me. Okay, I'm working still. Okay, everybody can hear me, right? Yes. Okay. So anyways, if you want to join our group and become a member, it's $25. You can send an email to our email shown on the screen there, grwtg2008@gmail.com, and that will go to our group here. We'll send you a link where you can pay online and become a member of our organization. We'll get you on our members only list, so that when we do these special events, you can be part of that. Is Ron Campbell in the room here? I don't see Ron in the room. I had him up here first to talk about Ron's retreat, which has been canceled. So probably everybody has gotten that notice. And I know he talked about it last week at the Kalamazoo Woodturners Guild. That with much regret, he was forced to cancel this year's event. He's already got dates for next year. I believe it's right around June 10th and 11th, something like that. I see Dave shaking his head yes, so that must be really close to the date. So he's already making plans for next year. So hopefully all this will be done with by then. You know, we can have he can have his hands-on retreat next year. Let's see. Moving on down the list here. We have the New City Kids scheduled in November, which that also depends on how all this quarantine lockdown and stuff is going. If we're still social distancing, we will not be doing our work with the New City Kids in November. But if things all clear up and we're able to, then we will be working with 7 kids from that group to turn some bowls and stuff. Let's see. Next on my new business, I have on Monday at 10 o'clock in the morning, we're going to have an interview with Trent Bosch and Rudy Lopez. They both have been doing all kinds of online demonstrations, and they are doing a joint effort on Tuesday. Trent Bosch is doing weekly, almost daily demonstrations, and he's going to have Rudy Lopez there as a guest turner on his, I guess, his show that he's doing. And it's something that everybody can sign up for. Trent Bosch is doing turnings demonstrations every week for $10 for anybody who wants to join. So, anyways, we're gonna have an interview with Trent and Rudy. 10 o'clock. It's going to be a Zoom room. So we will open up a Zoom room probably at 9:30 or so on Monday morning for that interview. Anybody who wants to see it, we will also stream that live on our YouTube channel for anybody who wants to see it. Plus, we'll record that and we'll send it again out on our Facebook channel, the Pure Michigan Collaborative, and our Grand River Woodturners Guild Facebook channel. Let's see. We're doing some tops. Hey, Tom, you want to talk about tops? Where you at, Tom?
Right here. So we have, I'm dropping off the first bunch of tops to the YMCA to distribute to kids in the greater Grand Rapids area tomorrow morning or Monday morning. Got over 100 tops so far, but that doesn't mean that if you haven't participated, you can't still get in on it, because I'm also dropping them off a week from Monday. I still have hard maple and all the supplies available. I've got a number of people I've given supplies to who promised me they're going to have a lot of tops. So I'm hoping it'll really work out.
Okay.
I applaud all you guys for making them.
I do have about 40 of them made that I need to get with you on. As a matter of fact, I might whip out a few more this afternoon if I have a chance. So text me or something, and we'll figure out. I can meet you halfway or something, hand you off those tops. Okay. So yeah, so if anybody else has tops made and you need to get a hold of Tom, hopefully you have his contact number information. If you don't, maybe he can put his email in his email should be on the emails that everybody gets. If you look through them, you'll find Tom Paniga in there. So that's going on. And this only goes through like June 15th, right, Tom? After that, they're done for the summer, right?
I think June 1. So we need to have them done by a week from Monday.
Okay. So that'll be the second round. The first round you're bringing out this Monday, right?
Great.
All right.
Oh.
Oh.
Did you turn any of that hard maple I gave you?
Just tops. Yeah.
It's beautiful wood.
Yeah, it's beautiful wood. It's dense. Yeah.
Yeah.
I cut up one of those blanks and made
I have
it
about half of it left yet. So
okay.
anybody wants some?
Okay. Yeah, it's some nice wood. So get a hold of Tom if you need wood for turning. I think Ken Blaine also had mentioned that he has some wood. If you're in his neck of the woods, you might be able to hook up with Ken and get some blanks if you need some for turning tops. So let's see. Moving down the list here, the guild did purchase a new laptop and 2 cameras, and the program that I'm using to do all this with. We haven't purchased it yet because I'm still on the free trial, but before our next meeting, we'll have to break down and buy it. But we have the equipment now to do online demonstrations. I'm going to use it for our demonstration today. I have it set up in my shop. So when we get ready for our demonstration, we're going to cut to my shop, and I'm going to turn a vortex bow. But we have that set up that we are going to be able to loan that out to like a member who, if you've got a shop and you've got internet wired to it, you got to have a wired internet with 5 megabytes upload speed. If you have that, then we want to hook up with you to okay, that surprised me when that changed. We want to hook up with you to to possibly get this equipment to you, and if you were interested in doing a demonstration for us. So I already got Bruce Dannenhauer on the line for a demonstration. I think he's going to be in August, I think we decided. Tom Sampson said he'll do something in the fall, so I got him online. Ron Campbell said if he can get his internet to his shop working, that he would like to do something too. So if you're capable of doing that and you have a demonstration that an idea for a demonstration, or if you're looking for an idea and are capable of doing that, get a hold of me and we'll see what we can work out to get you on our demonstration list. So yeah, next month our demonstration is going to be Matt Harbor. I don't know exactly what Matt is going to be doing for his demonstration. John, do you know? John, are you in the room? John Singleton?
Yeah, I'm in the room.
Do you know what his demonstration is going to be next month?
I think it's going to be plates and texturing.
Okay.
Plates, but actually Joe's been the one working with them, so I can't 100% say that, but that's what I believe.
Okay, because that's what he was going to do originally, was platters and texturing and things like that. So
I don't believe it's changed, because that's what people wanted to see in the questionnaire, and we were going to try to stick with their responses, what they want to see.
Okay. All right, good. So that'll be next month's demonstration. In July, we're going to be doing, as of now, tips, tricks, and jigs. If we can find a live demonstration, I would be fine with overriding our tips, tricks, and jigs for a live demonstration. So the call is out there, for somebody to volunteer to do that. I see Ron Campbell's in the room. Ron, did you want to talk about your Ron's retreat?
Yep. As you know, it's been canceled. We have scheduled next year's already. We did it the opposite month of the AAW. I can't do both the AAW and my retreat in the same time frame. So we have chosen, it's not on my calendar. It's in June next year. So I will be sending out a bunch of information shortly regarding the retreat and let you know all the particulars. We've had 3 more people sign up to be instructors: Sammy Long, Linda Ferber, and there's one other, and the name escapes me now. I could have more instructors than students, to be honest with you. So that's it.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Ron. Yeah, if more instructors and students, that'd be like a one-on-one learning for everybody. Can hardly beat that. Let's see. Let's see. Moving on down the list, I think we are up to, at this point, we're up to show and tell. We can if you want to share your screen, you're able to do that. We have the screen share on. So hopefully, if you want to share your screen, you've already practiced that once, so you have an idea how that works. But otherwise, we want everybody to raise their hand for if you have a show and tell, and then that'll move you up on the list. And then from there, we will I will spotlight whoever I call on for show and tell, and I'll also turn your mic on. So all you have to do is start talking when your screen goes live. I'm going to start show and tell with I made a calabash bowl after having our demonstration last month with Emiliano. I went out to my firewood pile, and that was one of the few pieces of wood I had that was large enough to make a calabash. So got the round bottom on it. It really, I'm surprised it sits flat with the round bottom, but when you set it down on the table, it sits level. You would thought I put a foot on it, but when you touch it, it'll rock. So it's kind of cool. So that is my demonstration. Next up, we have Bruce Dannenhauer. On deck is John Singleton, but first we're going to go to Bruce Dannenhauer. I'm going to spotlight you, and I'm going to unmute your mic. You're on, Bruce. You're on, Bruce.
Yeah, I had to unmute myself. I want to show this actually twice. I wanted to use the webcam on my computer, and then I want to do a share screen of a short video I took of it just to show the difference and to give you a good reason why to do a share screen instead of using your webcam. So I'm trying to get it so it's focused. Here we go. This is a piece of red elm that has some burl to it. There's a view of the burl. And it's about 12 inches across. And right now, this one just came out of a show at the Carnegie that it was juried in, didn't win a prize, but it was juried in. So let me go to the share screen and see what it looks like. So this is the share screen, and this is a short video I took of it so you could see all sides. Like I said, it's red elm. The finish on it is the gallery quality finish that the AAW had in their magazine a year or so ago. And so I've rimmed the top of the bowl, and also the foot is beaded. And the coffee cup's in there just for comparison for size. So that's my show and tell.
All right. Okay, thanks a lot, Bruce. Hang on, I was reading the chat screens here. Let's see. Next up, we have John Singleton. I've unmuted your mic. I'm trying to unmute your mic. It doesn't unmute. You guess you're gonna have to unmute your own mic.
Okay, I unmuted my mic.
Okay. And here you
Okay.
are. You're on the screen.
I've also turned a couple calabashes. This one didn't quite have a total round bottom, but roundish. But this one here, smaller one, I got a total round bottom, if you can see that. And they too also set flat, which kind of surprises me. But after that demonstration, it was kind of nice to try it, something different, you know. That's it. And it's finished with the food safe finish, so they're usable also. Thank
All
you.
right. Okay, next up is Brian. Brian, you have to unmute your mic. I can't unmute it.
Yep, I got it. I have a couple of vases that I've been working on. It's a curly maple with a little bit of spalting in it, and it's got a koa finial for the top. So I got a new camera system for doing the bases in hollow form, so I had to get it out there working. This one's a box elder piece, and it had quite a bit of curl. It's been dyed with alkaline dyes. It's got 3 different shades of blues: turquoise, a midnight blue, and then a bright blue. So it gives it some different shadowing effects in it. But that's it.
Very nice. You have a really nice form on both of those.
Well, thank you.
You-
That's one of the things I've been working on, especially with the taller vases. I kind of gotten into doing different shapes with them, so I've been experimenting with a few things. So,
been
but I really
used-
like your camera system. That's been working well for me, and
Okay.
I can I
Good.
cut my turning time down on the vases probably by an hour or so using that. It's much easier than using the laser, so I really like it.
Yeah, it really is incredible how much faster you can turn a hollow form. I mean,
It is because you're not always messing around with that laser and the card trying to find. You got to be so precise with it, and your increments too are also very smaller that you can move as you work down the curve. Once you get into a straight line, it's not so bad. You can go maybe an inch or so, but with your camera system, it seems like I can go about a half an inch to an inch before you really have to start moving your tip around and, you know, adjusting it. So I like it. It works really well.
yeah, after you get used to it, you almost don't even have to mark the screen anymore. I can almost just wing it.
Once you get confident with it, it's a couple of times I was like, oh, I haven't, checked it, and you get a little paranoid. But once you use it a few times and understand how it's working, I like it. It worked good.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have Jim Blaze. How do you pronounce your last name, Jim?
Blaze.
Blaze. Okay.
I just did my second nested set of bowls, which I also put on our Michigan forum. It's kind of fun. I just did out of silver maple, and it's one thing I've learned is I kind of made a comment on the web on the Michigan site. It's one thing to turn one bowl. It's a whole nother thing to turn 3 that look relatively the same. So I got a lot more practice yet to come, but it's kind of fun. Beautiful wood. So just want to share that.
Do you have a coring system?
Yeah, I use a one-way.
Okay.
Kind of pretty simple to do, and then it's taken me some time to get used to getting the proper depth, but I finally got that figured out, and so far so good. It takes time to set it up a little bit, is all.
Cool. Okay, next up, John Behrens. You need to unmute your mic. I can't.
All right. How's that?
That's good.
See, I showed this at last week's meeting with the, can you see it?
No.
Share.
I see you.
Hold on. I guess I have to hit share screen first.
Yep. Find what.
Share screen. All right. I gotta get, I believe it's this one here. This one.
Here it comes.
That's a calabash too. This was a bowl I rough turned in 2007 or 17.
I think you can double click that. It'll blow it up for us.
Oh, okay. There, how's that?
Didn't work.
Didn't work?
We're still
Well,
sharing.
see
I
that.
guess we're sharing the same screen still. You could go back and share that blowed up screen. Go.
Okay, let's try this again. Share screen. Oh, that's not working?
Yep. Nope. There it is. That looks good.
Oh, okay. So this is, I turned this in 17 and it sat on the shelf and you see that big crack there. There's one on the smaller one on the other side and one right across the bottom. You can almost see it in the bottom left corner. I filled those with just some epoxy with a dark red dye. I probably might have been neater if I just put a very small amount of dyes lucent, but and regardless, it turned out pretty good. It's black walnut. It's probably 5.5 wide, 7 inches tall, and I did stay a little thicker probably than I should have, about 1/4 inch at the top there, and I left it heavier at the bottom. It does have a very small flat on the bottom that's probably 3/4 of an inch. I probably didn't need it though, Doug. I think it would have stood just fine on its own. But anyway, I felt I needed it anyway because it sits on the table, not on the beach. So anyway, that's it. It was just one I had dried up, and I thought, boy, I probably can get the shape I want out of it. It is nowhere near what the shape was when I rough turned it, but I'm kind of happy with it.
Okay. You want me to stop your Zoom? There, you got it.
Yeah. There you go.
All right. Next up is this is Aaron, right? Aaron, you're up.
So this was a Christmas present for my mom. I never actually got around to turning it, but it's a winged bowl that you can see the base doesn't set on the bottom there. It was out of a pearl on a branch. Let's see, so the branch ran lengthwise here, and it was sticking off. So I thought it was kind of a cool idea to make a hollow form out of it, leave the majority of the top of the burl on the top there, and such. I've got sanding sealer on it. I still need to put a real finish on. I just it's been sitting in a box. When I brought it back from Christmas, I showed her when it was all wet, and I was like, I got to finish it for you. And since I'm about to head up later this month, I figured I'd better finish it now before I head up.
Yeah, very nice. I always wonder what to do with those when people have a burl on a branch. And it's like, yeah, by the time I take the burl off, there's not much to work with, but that's a great idea.
Right. Yeah.
All right, Tom Penninga, you're up. You need to unmute your mic. There you go.
Everybody see that?
Yep.
Okay, that's all the tops we've been making.
Good.
That's it.
Hang on, I was zooming in on it. Oh, well. Okay, let's see. Next up is Doug Smith. Our new member, Doug. What you got for us?
Good morning, everybody. Fuzzy cam here. I'm sharing my, not sure if that's coming through very well. I've only been doing this for a month. And this is some ash, one of my first bowls, another piece of ash that split on me. And I have filled that in with epoxy and still in the final stages of finishing. I've got a couple of pieces of cherry. This one is unfinished, but it's in the works. This one is a finished bowl. came out, I think, very nicely for me, given my experience. It's got a lot of vigor and interest in it. And then starting getting into bigger bowls with some big chunks of birch that I've gotten, and just from a beginner standpoint, that's where I'm at.
Yep. Very nice. Very nice. And Doug just joined our group earlier this week, did it online. So he's a testament that actually does work. He paid his dues online, and we found it, and we added him to our email list. And here he is today showing something. So thanks a lot, Doug.
You're welcome, and greetings from New Hampshire.
All right. Let's see. Next up, I have Ron Campbell. Yeah, unmute your mic, Ron.
Done. Good morning to all of you. This piece I turned, I spent some time with Max Brosey, and he taught this last year at the AAW. His are all wood, which this is wood, but he doesn't paint them the way I did here. I turned around then and mounted this on what I hope looks like a drop of water. And to fasten this piece, I run a pin, and you can barely see the pin right here, drilled through, made a dowel to fit that, and then I was able to hide it with this piece of pipe. This again is a story off of 60 Minutes and the Flint water crisis here in Flint, Michigan. So it was a lot of fun. I enjoy doing these kind of pieces. I know they're a little out of the realm of wood turning, but I do enjoy it. So this is a piece I'd like to demo for the club if I can get any kind of Wi-Fi to my shop. So that'll give you an idea of what I would do. So that's about it, Doug. Thanks.
Okay. Let's see. Next up, we have Phil Irons, all the way from Great Britain. Hey, Phil.
Hey, Doug. Is it okay if I do one? I'm not a member,
you're fine. You're here, yeah.
Okay. I don't physically have this piece with me, but a lot of my work I video, and because it is so 3D, when I'm trying to sell it remotely on websites or through Etsy or whatever. So this piece is colored maple. We call it Norway maple, but it's I'm not sure, it's a bit like your big leaf maple. It stands about a foot tall and 6.5, 7 inches diameter. Stained with two different colored dyes, black and red. And then the natural edge is has got 22 carat champagne gold leaf on it. On the the natural edge bits.
Very nice.
Wow.
That's the sort of stuff that I do. The art pieces.
So besides maple burl, what other burls do you have there that you have like plenty of?
Okay, let's go. You've probably seen all this, but a lot of burr elm. This piece, you can see that. You guys see that?
Yep.
Yeah. I do a lot of funeral urns, so these are the threaded lids. But this is burr elm or elm burl. What I do is any splits when they dry, I fill in with powdered metals in epoxy, and that's what those lines are. The spalted beech, a bit more burr elm, and I think this piece coming up is some walnut.
Yeah, very nice.
What else have I got? Sorry, wasn't. This is just a fun one. This is just. I like playing.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
How do I prep for the gold leaf? Okay. Doug, I've got to leave. So
okay.
Thanks for letting me join you. and I'll be in touch and hopefully get to do a demo for you guys.
Yeah, that'd be
Bill?
wonderful.
Bill,
Hang on.
a quick question from Dave Curley.
Yeah.
How do you prep the NE for gold leaf, the natural edge?
Oh, and I forgot to say that I spray these with a waterborne lacquer. I was using nitrocellulose and tried all the different rattle cans and all that sort of stuff, and I found this very eco-friendly, non-toxic waterborne lacquer. So when I've sprayed it, the natural edge has got 3 or 4 coats on. I spray the whole thing, 3 or 4 times, and then all I do is just use the gold size to as the glue to put the metal leaf on.
Okay, over top of
Bill?
the lacquer.
Yeah, straight on top of the lacquer.
Phil, on that same piece, did you stain or darken the interior?
The interior is I'll go back to it if I can. The interiors of them, I just paint with, what do you guys call it? We call it emulsion here. House paint, water-based paint.
Latex?
And the latex, yeah. So I just paint the inside black, partly because the stains bleed right through, and it's to cover them up, and also it's so you're looking at the outside and not the inside. They're not sanded inside; they're just off as best as I can get off the tool. So that what you're seeing in there is just the black latex.
Thank you.
No problem.
Any other questions for Phil? Oh, here we go.
Phil, is your plan to do live demonstrations for clubs and stuff? Would you be interested in doing one for our club?
Certainly, yeah.
Thank you. We will be in touch.
Yeah, I'll forward you his email, John.
All right, that would be great. Thank you, Phil. Thanks, Doug.
Yep.
No problem. Thank you. Right, I'll say goodbye, and sounds like I'll talk to you guys fairly soon.
All right. Thanks a lot for calling in today. We appreciate it.
Just a quickie. Is this your 9 o'clock in the morning? That's awfully early for a club meeting.
I guess we're early birds. I don't know. We'd like to be done by noon. I don't want to miss dinner,
Oh, okay. So, yeah.
So what time is it there?
Of course, yes. Here it's 20 to 3 in the afternoon.
Okay. So that works for you then. Okay.
Yeah. So if this is your normal meeting time, it's perfect for me.
Yeah.
But I was talking to Emiliano about doing one to his club, and that means getting up at like 4 in the morning to do. So it's evening for them.
When he did our demonstration, we had to do our meeting at 4 in the afternoon. Because his time changed. So yeah, we were a little too early for him at 9.
Sure. Yeah. And then I've got lots of friends in Australia who, turning friends who want me to do them. There, Western Australia is not too bad, but the East Coast. So Theo Haralampu, that again is Celia Clock.
Let's put a scoop in that. You got.
Oh. Okay.
Okay. I will say goodbye this time.
All right.
And, enjoy the rest of your meeting.
Thanks a lot for calling in today. Yeah.
No worries.
Nice meeting you.
And you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Bye.
Let's see. That concludes our show and tell segment.
Hey, Doug.
Yes, Jim.
Just a quick comment. If anybody hasn't gone back to Emiliano's website, he turned a huge calabash bowl. I think it was like May 5th or something. So there's an incredible picture of that on his website for what it's worth.
Okay. I see a lot of his stuff on Facebook because we're friends on Facebook. I think I saw him post that on Facebook too. I haven't been to his website recently though.
Hey, Doug.
Yeah.
That's Don.
Don.
You got time for an infomercial here?
Sure. You want to show us what your giveaway today is?
Yep.
Hang on. I gotta do my intro for you. You know, because I made this, I have to use it as much as possible. Here it comes.
Right.
Oh, it stopped. Okay.
There you go.
I'm trying to find you here.
Look at the.
Hang on,
I'm
I'm trying to spotlight your screen. Here we go. Okay, now I spotlighted your screen. And,
Okay,
no.
you guys got to appreciate this. I have nobody to hold my iPad, so this thing is setting up on my banjo with the Trent Bosch carving stand and a chuck on top of that holding the camera.
Okay.
So it's kind of Rube Goldberg. But anyhow, this is the redesign of the Anything Chucky, and I'll just show you real quick here for doing spheres and what have you. What you would do is mount it and turn off the nubbins. This is an old one that Rudy Lopez made about 10 years ago for me. Besides that, the reason it's called the Anything Chucky is you could hold a small little bowl or a box and just resurface it or whatever you wanted to do. Whatever works is what you can hold with these things. Here's a rounded top. It fits very nicely into there, so you can hold it that way. You can turn with it or finish or what have you. So those are just a few of the examples of what it does. And here was my setup holding that camera. Please, hey guys, I'm on the thing here. So anyhow, that's that.
All right.
And this will be given away, and Doug will do his little spinning wheel thing later.
I think just for the heck of it, I'm going to do that right now. We're going to give away that. Let's see.
Anything Chucky.
Yeah, I'm going to give away the Anything Chucky right now. So let me fire.
That'll come with an arbor as well.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Retail on that's about $50. So.
Okay, so we have a $50 giveaway now. Let's go here.
It's the wheel.
Okay. We have all of our members loaded up on the wheel here, so we're going to give away the Anything Chucky from Rubber Chucky. So here goes the big spin. Larry Truss. Larry, are you in the room? Is Larry in the room?
Yes, he is.
All right, I'm going to write your name down, Larry, and I'll forward your information to Don Doyle there, so he can send that to you.
Yep, it'll go out. It'll go out in Monday's mail.
Okay, I got that written down. So while I'm at it, let's give away one of Ron Campbell. He's got several gift certificates for us. $10 gift certificates. He's got 3 of them, so I'm going to give away one of those right now too before we go into our demonstration. And then after the demonstration, I'll have 2 more of Ron's to give away. We have a woodcraft certificate to give away and craft supplies. We're going to do $30 of craft supplies also. So that's after the demonstration. But right now we'll do one of Ron's. So here comes another spin for an AZ Carbide $10 gift certificate. Bruce. Bruce, I'm assuming you're still in the room. You were here earlier. Bruce, are you here in the room yet? Or did you have to go? Oh, man, I don't think he's here. Wonder what he was here. He was here earlier because I talked to him. So we'll give that to him because he did make maybe he lost his connection or something. I'd hate to have him lose out because he momentarily had to leave the room for something. Okay, so those are our 2 giveaways for now. Let's now I think we're going to go into our we'll start our demonstration unless somebody else has something that they want to that they want to talk about, ask questions on, anything. Did I miss anything before we go into the demonstration? Okay. The demonstration today, which is 2 parts. The first part here, it's one of my Vortex bowls. I was going to bring it down here to show you, but let me get my video up here.
Hey, Doug, will the demo be up on the YouTube channel later?
I hope so. Streaming it sometimes can be. I'm streaming Zoom through vMix, and sometimes I have issues with it. But I'm going to. Hopefully, we will have it all online. Yes. So on our YouTube channel. Okay.
I think it's playing on it now because
yeah,
I kind of had a little brain fart there, and I went on to YouTube, and there it was.
Okay. Yeah, I know it started to play. It's when I start sharing a Zoom screen, we have problems.
Maybe that's what it was.
So we'll see how that goes when we get down farther into it. Let's see. I need to spotlight my video. Can you do that, Fred, for me? Okay. So, anyways, the demo today is a Vortex bowl. This is my the second Vortex bowl I made. Hopefully you all can see this. Hang on. No, I need to share this. Okay, now, can everybody see this? Shake your heads if you can see that. My mouse and my screen. Okay. This is my Vortex bowl. The vortex is kind of between the base and the rim is all the vortex area. I make these. I make a little segmented base on the bottom, and I made a segmented rim. But right now I'm going to talk about doing the whole vortex through the middle part here. I got to move some things around here so I can get to my screen. So there's what the inside looks like, and that's kind of where the vortex name comes from. It swirls from the top to the bottom. The one that I'm making currently that I'm going to turn this afternoon, because after I do this here video part, we're going to go out in my shop and I'm going to turn it. It's sitting there ready to go. The one I'm turning today, this spiral goes halfway up and then it goes the other direction. So it does like a U-turn on it. Other than that, it's going to be very similar to that. To make these vortex bowls, you got to start out with making like a block. It's kind of like a board from a bowl. So here's the beginning of my block. I have 69 pieces of wood here. They're all like, 3/16 of an inch, 1/4 inch, somewhere in that area. They don't all have to be the same size. The second one, I actually had some bigger boards in there because I wanted some larger areas of like the Padauk. So I did larger bowls, but this one here, I just did the same pattern over and over and over again. I'm shooting for a 13-inch square block that's 3 inches tall, or at least 3 inches high. So then after that, after I get them all laid out how I want them, then I glue them together in halves. This is half of my current block. I glue them together. I clamp the top and the bottom to try to keep this edge as straight as possible. I always have a problem with one of these or two of these boards or half of them oozing up, sliding up as they're drying, And then when I go to mill it, I lose, a quarter or a half inch off this block. So that's one reason why I start with 3-inch block, just so I have room for waste. So that's half of the block. Here's both blocks glued up. I'm going to plane these down, and then I take my table saw and I true up the center edge. The center of this bowl is this block right there. So I made sure that I was off center. That way when I true this up, I'm not taking away part of my center board and ruining the pattern, because I want this, at least the very center here, to have a nice pattern. So this board right here is the center of this whole block once I glue that up. So first thing I do is plane it down. When I run this through the planer, I have a waste block there. I'm going to save that waste block. I need that waste block later. So, but I run it through and make sure both sides are flat. And so right now they're planed up, they're flat. I could glue this together right now, but I'm going to cut this into layers. And my bandsaw, I do not trust it to cut a 12-inch resaw. It's just not that accurate. As a matter of fact, I have a hard time doing a 6-inch. So I'm going to run this through separately, both the blocks, and then I'll glue it up after I cut all the layers, and then put it back together individually. I saved my waste block here, which is the same height as what's in my hand. There is the block. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that waste block into pieces, and then I'll use that piece to run through my bandsaw when I set my bandsaw up, so I can get an idea of how many layers I'm going to get, and like just a test block, a waste block. I'm going to shoot for 7 layers here. So what I'll do now is I'm going to run that through after I kind of get my blade set up where I think I want it, and see how these all add up. I use the wood slicer blade from Highland Woodworking. It's a super thin blade. It has hardly any kerf. So when I'm cutting these blocks up, I don't have a lot of waste. When I get done here cutting this, I'm gonna stack this up and show how much wood I lost. I cut that into 8 pieces, and I only lost maybe 3/16 of an inch from the cuts. When I cut this big piece up, I don't get 8 pieces. I only get 7, which is really kind of what I wanted anyways, is 7 pieces. So now that I've got that set up, and I kind of know where I'm at, I'm going to go and slice both of my pieces into 7 pieces here. And this is actually fast motion. This is actually 5 times faster than what I normally cut at. So that's kind of gives you an idea how slow I was going when I cut those. Let's see. I don't think I didn't film all this, so we should be getting to the end of this spot here. So if anybody's got any questions, just raise your hand or say something, and I'll stop the video, and I can answer any questions. Here's the last block I didn't run through. I realized that I had enough at the bottom to cut 2 more pieces, but at the top it was too thin. So I just left it that thick. I want one piece to be thicker than the rest when I make this. I use that later to true up the bowl as I'm gluing things together. So I was fine with that. So now I'm going to go and glue the other half, or cut up the other half, and then run them through the planer here. I'm going to run these through in pairs. So I'm running through the 2 thickest ones first, and I'm going to stop planing them as soon as they're both smooth on both sides. And then I'm not going to run them through anymore. I'm fine with them being thicker than the rest of them. And then as I run the rest of them through, I'll do the same thing. I'm going to run them through in pairs. As soon as I get a pair that's cleaned up both sides, I'm going to stop turning them. I'm going to stop planing them and set them aside. So I'll have different thicknesses on these layers when I get done, which I'm fine with that. So here's all my layers. I've got, there's 6 of them here. The 7th one's off to the side. The top ones are a little thinner than the bottom ones, because the top ones I ran through the planer longer to get all the saw marks out. So here's my thickest ones, and I'm going to glue these together now so that I have these layers that I can cut rings out of. So I use Tight Bond 2 glue. I use it for everything. I mean, I have other Tight Bonds around, but Type Bond 2 is kind of my go-to glue for everything that I'm gluing up here. I'm gonna get a lot of glue on these because we're gonna cut these into layers. They're gonna be kind of thin, and I don't need these coming apart later. So get a lot of glue on them. The board on the bottom here that I'm gonna set them on, it's a 2x4. I wrapped it with wax paper so that I can glue these without everything sticking to that. I'm gonna get that centered and get that down, and go into my snug these up. Try to get everything level. And then I'm gonna put down some wax paper and put another board on top of this that I can pull together the seams. I really don't want, I don't want to have to sand these too much more. I definitely don't want to run them through the planer again. I just want to be able to lightly sand these and then be able to cut them into rings to make the bowl. So I'm clamping the top and the bottom of these kind of like I clamped the block earlier to try to keep everything level. So after I get that snug down, then I can snug down the other. And after it's all snug down, it looks like it's level. I can unclamp that and set that one aside. And then I'll go and clamp up the rest of them and get them all drying. So then once they're all dried, here they are all dried. I sanded them all, got the glue off them. So now I have my layers for all my boards. And these layers are all different thicknesses. If you look at it here, you can see on the right-hand side is my thickest one, which I'm fine. I want one thicker. Right next to it is one of the thinner ones, and on the far end is one of the thinner ones. And then another one of the thicker ones I put in the middle because this is going to be a repeating pattern. This is going to repeat 5 times as we stack these up. And just like this side's a pattern, this side's also going to be a pattern in this bowl when we stack it up and cut the rings out of it. So I'm fine with all different levels. I just want to get them severed out, separated so that I don't have 2 thin ones together and I don't have 2 thick ones together. Okay, this is where we're headed to. I'm showing a shot afterwards, and I'm going to show you how we got to this spot. I like to get all my panels laid down there, all my layers, with the thickest one on the top, the way I had them there, and then I'm going to number the corners. 7 is going to be my thickest one, because that's going to be the last board that I put on this bowl. That's going to be the top rim. And then 6 would be below that, and then so I number all these and make sure this pattern is the same on all these, kind of like a deck of cards. I want to be able to flip through it and not see that pattern change, because when I glue these up, I don't want the pattern to change. It's really important to keep this pattern going. I've marked the center here. There's my center board. I've marked that center on every one of these. And then when I draw these circles, I go down this like 6 o'clock from this mark up here and put a pinprick at all the intersections where I'm going to draw these circles. These are also, these pinpricks I make to draw the circle is the same pinprick I'm going to use to drill holes in this so I can cut this on the scroll saw. So all these, you want all these to be in the same spots on all the boards. So that I use all these, like the drill points. When I drill these, I use that drill mark to line things up later when I'm gluing everything together. So here I'm going to draw the circles. And what you do, you start with your number 7 board and draw the largest possible circle you can get on that number 7 board. That happens to be 12 1/4 inches on this. After I drill that, now I'm going to draw my circles in here, which I made each one of these rings or circles 1 1/16. And I'll explain that in a minute here, how I came to that conclusion. So I'm going to go down here and right down the center of that board, I'm going to put a pinprick at 1 1/16 until I get to the center of the board. Well, until I get within 2 inches of the center. I don't need any rings to be less than 2 inches. That's too small to really work with. So I think I get 4 rings out of this larger board with the center disc. So now I'm going to draw all my rings here. So show them all here at 1 1/16. And now I'm getting ready to draw the rings on the next board. And so let me cut to a picture here to show where we're headed with this. This is a schematic of that board. We're going to cut all these rings, and we're going to stack them all up. So right now I'm working on the number 7 ring, which is my largest bowl, and it's one of my thicker rings. And I drew the largest possible circle, which is way out here. Because I have 7 layers, what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide this 1/16 into 7. And I use millimeters because it's easier to work with, which comes out to about 4 millimeters. So then this next layer, 6, I will make those circles 4 millimeters less than the top layer. And then the 5 will be 4 millimeters less than the 6. That way I progressively get smaller, and when I get done, I can stack these all up. I show my math here. 4 millimeters, I'm going to have 4 millimeter waste on both sides here when I get done gluing them up. So I'm going to have 8 millimeter total waste. 8 millimeters equals 5/16. If I take 5/16 and I subtract that from the 1/16 ring that I started with, it gives me a 3/4 of an inch working diameter on this vessel when I go to start turning it. I spent a lot of time thinking about this on the first one I made, like over a week, trying to figure out how to do this, to come up with this measurement. So you can change your 1/16. It's going to change the 3/4. So that's how I came up with an 1/16. I wanted 3/4 of an inch on this vessel. I want to be able to put a slight curve in this. I don't want this wall to be straight when I turn this. I want a little bit of a bend in this. So 3/4 of an inch gives me the room to do that. So let me head on back here to drawing this. So here I'm getting my 1/16. I convert my my slide rule there to millimeters. It's 29 millimeters. I divide that by 4, which comes up with 4 millimeter. So then I'm going to take my 4 millimeter and I'm going to go to the largest ring. I'm going to mark that. I'm going to put an indent there. 4 millimeter less, and it's rough. I mean, I'm not exact there. There's probably ways to get that exact, but I'm just getting it close to that. So then what I'm going to do is take my calipers here and I'm going to adjust that to the 4 millimeter less mark, which is right there. And I kind of draw a little circle to see how much smaller it's going to be. So that's 4 millimeters less on this 7. So then I'm going to go to the number 6 board, and I'm going to draw that circle. So here, let me go to the number 6 board. And I've got my pinprick there. So then I'm going to draw that circle. So now number 6 is 4 millimeter less than the number 7 board. And then I'll draw my 1/16 rings all the way down on that. And then I'll measure 4 millimeter less than this circle and transfer that to the number 5 board. And so on until I get them all drawn up. And when I get done, I have all my rings drawn, and every board will be progressively smaller rings than the previous board. That way I can stack them all up. So here I am. I've got them all drawn. I'm showing where I did all my pinpricks down the center here. And that is so important. The very first one of these bowls I made, I did not do that, and I got it all messed up. So this is my way to keep things in order. The next thing that I got to do here that I didn't show is we're going to number all these. So we can, once we cut these, we can number them all. Now the next step is drilling holes in this. And at this point, you might want to do some math before you start drilling holes in these boards. Because at this point, you've probably got about 20 or 25 hours invested in making this block and cutting these all down. So the simple math is, and let me cut back to this other screen. It might be easier to see. This top layer here of all these boards, these are all the largest rings on all 5 of them or 7 of my boards. All the, like I call them the A rings. And then the B rings are the second one smaller. The 7B ring has to be smaller than the 1A. Catch what I'm saying there? Because we're going on down. So then I start laying up all the B's. This needs to be smaller than the 1A. If you did your math exactly right, it would be 4 millimeters less. If you marked them all and got it through, I don't know if that's that possible or that important, but that's the math. So what you can do here is take your number 1 and take your number 7 board. And see, I'm showing my second ring on the number 7. That needs to be smaller than the large ring on the number 1. So I take my my calipers and I line it up to the large ring on number 1. And I'm gonna transfer that over to the number 7 board and make sure that the number 7 is smaller. If it's not smaller, or if it's way smaller, then you need to redo your math. You need to redraw the circles. I'm smaller there by maybe 2 millimeter, not very much, but it is still smaller. So I'm comfortable enough that I can drill these holes and cut all these rings out to do the rest of this this glue up. So now I'm going to number all my rings now that I'm ready to cut them, and I'm going to do 7A, 7B, 7C, 7D, and then the middle will be 7E. I didn't write it there, but I will write it later. And I'm going to do that to all the boards. So now I'll go to the number 6, and I'll make that 6A, B, C, D, and E to the center. When you get to the number 3 board here, that center, that last circle is less than 2 inches. It's not really usable. So you don't have to draw that last circle on the number 3 board or the 2 or the 1. Those are, you just leave these discs will be solid. They'll just get stacked up on the bottom at the end. So now I'm going to drill the holes in them. I use an 1/8 inch drill bit. I use these 408 Olsen blades. They're 7 TPI. They're made to cut thick wood. That's the bit I'm going to use, the blade I'll use to saw all these rings up. So now I'm going to drill the holes. Just drill those straight up and down. You don't have to do an angle or nothing because we're just going to stack these things straight up. And now you've drilled holes in it, you've kind of like committed yourself to this is the pattern. So now you can take this to the bandsaw, cut the outside ring off. And then the next step is to sit down at the scroll saw and spend the next 3 hours cutting all these rings out. This is at 5 times the speed that it took me to do this. So it's a slow, tedious job, but it just takes time to do it. So you just sit down, put your headphones on, and spend the morning cutting out all these rings. When you get done cutting all these rings, this is kind of what you got. Here's my 7 bowl, my 7 layer, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1s over on my other bench. I've got them all laid out in order here because the next step I'm going to do now is I'm going to mark these for my offset. When I glue these up, I'm going to have an offset on the glue. So I want my offset to be 3/4 of an inch. So I've got my drill marks lined up here on all these. I've got my patterns lined up on all the rings so they're in the exact same pattern. None of them are flipped over. 3/4 of an inch over happens to be where this strip of maple is. So that's my offset on all these rings. So I'm going to go to all the rings now, and I'm going to mark down that 3/4 of an inch. Now I've got all the largest rings from the 1 through 7. I'm sitting on this board here. I've got the mark up, and I've got the number here facing out. So I'm going to get them all in order here with the drill bit mark up, or my other mark up. They're both right next to each other, and lay them all out. So here they are, all laid out, ready to be glued up, except for the ones that we didn't cut holes in the center of. So, and I got them all in order, and at this point you can see if you've got one mixed up because the pattern's not gonna, it'll stick right out. So you want to make sure you get them all in the right order. That way when you're gluing, you're not trying to flip it over and figure out which way's out. All these other smaller ones, they're going to be the bottom base. Those will stack up all the way down till I get to about 2 1/4 inches. I'm going to make a segmented base that those will glue onto. So these last 2 I'm not going to use. So I could have not cut the holes in number 4 and 5 also because those 2 blocks were too small to use. I'm gonna make a segmented base to glue all that up. So there's kind of how that's going to look. So now I'm going to go to my segmented base. I made this segmented base. I didn't show doing this I just use a wedgie sled, 22.5 degree wedgie sled, and cut those out. It's yellow heart and purple heart. So I'm going to glue that on there. I've got a waste block in there. I'm going to glue this on there and let that dry overnight. The next day I flatten that out, got it level, and then start gluing on my the rest of the rings. So here we are with the rest of the rings. 6 will go on first. I'm going to make sure that 6, the E, is facing my tailstock, and then all the marks will go up. I made another piece out of some of my scrap pieces for the very bottom, because when you look into the bottom of this bowl, I want to see this pattern, not just the straight boards. Typically, you look at the bottom of these vortex bowls, and the very bottom is just straight boards. There's no flare. So I'm hoping to get that in the right position so that when I cut through this, when I cut that board, I hit that bottom and put this pattern in the bottom of it. So there, now I'm gluing that on, and then I'm going to start gluing on the rest of my pieces here. So 6E, I'm going to make sure my numbers are facing the tailstock. I've got the pinpricks from when I drew the circles that I'm going to use to center these. So I can start putting those on. So there's 6, lots of glue. I'm kind of looking to see if there's something I want to line up or not line it up with. And I'm going to glue that on there. So that's 6E. The next one coming up here is 7E. This is one of our thicker boards. Every time I get to a 7E, I stop for the day, and I let that glue dry up overnight. Right here, I'm getting it set up for my swing. Right now, I've lined it up straight across. So I'm going to give it a 3/4 of an inch offset here by spinning it. Here's my drill mark. I'm pointing out my drill mark from the previous one. So I'm going to move this mark back until it lines up with my drill mark, which will be 3/4 of an inch. And then I'm going to let this dry overnight. And now I'm going to use this to level my bowl. So that's why I wanted a thicker one. Every 7 layers, we're going to stop, let it dry, and then I'm going to level this off, and then start gluing on the layers for the day. So let's say I flatten this down. I get it thinner. I don't get it always thin as the other ones. I don't mind it being thicker. Once again, this is going to be a repeating pattern. So now here's my 1D, which was the centerpiece for number 1. Get my pattern. It's the next day. I can't remember which way I turned this, so I have to think about it. Like, oh yeah, I went this way. So get that set up there, and I'm tighten it up and glue that on there. So then here's 2. Give it a spin. There's 3. Now, that's the last.
Doug, we have a question.
Yes. What's the question?
We have a couple of questions. The first one is that an Excel spreadsheet that you're using?
Yes.
To figure out all the.
Yes. I just kind of, it's not accurate, but it kind of gives me an idea, a picture of what it would look like. So yeah, go ahead.
And then Thomas has a question. Thomas, go ahead, unmute your mic.
So I have a question. I've noticed that some of these, some other YouTube videos, they don't glue, they cut them as half rings on the bandsaw and then glue the half rings together.
Yep.
Is there you did it differently?
I glued the rings up together. You can do it either way. I mean, I think the last one I did, I actually did it individually, and I found gluing up those half pieces was not so easy to do, because those rings have flex. You try to pressure them, and you can break them at the seam, or not even break them at the glue joint, but it's thin wood, and you're working with the grain. You can just break it could just break. So I like to glue the pieces together. But if you don't have a scroll saw, you can use a bandsaw and cut the whole thing on your bandsaw by doing it half at a time. So, yeah. Okay. So let's see. on our video, we just glued on the, was there any more questions? No? Okay. We just glued on 3D. So now we're coming up to the rings. So let me show you how I do the rings now. I have a board. I drew all these circles on. I just randomly drew them. They're about 1/4 inch. I stuck it on the lathe, of course, and sanded it down, and then drew the circles. And what I do now is I tape the piece that I'm going to glue on here. I get it centered, and then I have a live center that has 1/4 inch point on it that I can put the board on, and I can just slide it up and glue that onto my board. So that's how I glued all these together. So here it is. I want to make sure that my number is down because it needs to face the tailstock. So that number goes down, and then I'm going to turn it until my drill mark is like the top of my board from where I'm looking at it. I like to keep everything the same. So I'm going to lay that out so that the drill mark is on the top. My number is facing down. I'm going to tape that on there. I'm going to try to catch the outside 1/8 of an inch. That way it'll keep it outside of my glue joint. So I'm going to glue that on there, or tape that on there, I mean. Put some glue on. I'm generous with the glue. I put it on there and smear it around. I also put some on the other piece, smear it around, make sure I got good coverage, especially on these smaller pieces. There's a lot of bowl hanging off these small pieces that you first start making this with. So put some glue on that end. My board on there, get my drill mark to the top, get my drill mark there to the top. So there's my mark, my off-center mark. I'm going to line up my off-center mark to my drill bit, and that gives it 3/4 of an inch. So I'll press it on with my lathe there, remove the tape. I let these set for 3 or 4 minutes. Usually I'm working on something else at the same time. So I'll just walk away and come back after 3 or 4 minutes, and then it should be tacky enough that I can put the next layer on. So here's the next layer. Now I'm putting this in fast motion here. Put some glue on that. Glue that on, line that up, get my offset. Now we're up to the number 7. So this is going to be my last layer for the day. I'm going to get that on there, get it all lined up, and then I'm going to let it set overnight and let it dry. Because tomorrow morning, the first thing I will do will level off that bowl again. I don't want to wait until the end and find out that we're really crooked or off center. So here's the next day. I'm leveling that off. I'm going to turn that down so that this level is the same as my previous 7, which is back here somewhere. Now at this point, I want those to kind of be the same, because this is going to be repeating pattern. We're going to do this 5 times. So now I'm gluing them on. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you can see my pattern here going up. 7. Now at this point, I reversed the pattern, and I didn't stop to show that when in the original one, so I stuck this picture in there. But I got up to about halfway, and I started going the opposite way now on my pattern. So I'm going to have a U-turn in there when I look inside the vessel. So here I am putting the rest of them on. And there's the last ring. Oh no, now we're into the last day. Here we're getting into the last rings. There's the last ring. What I was saying earlier, make sure you got a lot of glue. I mean, look at all this bowl, and I'm going to put a rim on this. All that bowl is hanging on these small pieces. You want to make sure you got a lot of glue in there. So don't skimp out on the glue. So I get that on there. I made a rim. I was going to film me cutting that, and I forgot. But I just used my wedgie sled. When I make rings, hang on, let me back up there. Hang on, slow down. I go to this website, www.blocklayer.com. I don't know if everybody's aware of this site, but I found this a couple, 3 years ago. Anytime I do anything segmented, I go to this site. You can select what you're doing here. They have wood turning segments. It's in inches or in metric. So I change it to inches. You put in how many segments you want, what your radius, and your radius is from center to the outside. So 6.5 radius is 12.5 inches circumference around the outside, or diameter, I mean. And then you put in how thick you want your rings, and then you hit diagrams to PDF, and it makes a really nice PDF page that you can print out that has your wedge, has all the angles in it. It's actual size, shows the ring. It has everything you need to take out into your garage and make this segmented piece. So that's what I use to make my segmented pieces. It works really, really well. And then here I am gluing on my segmented piece. This is kind of a big piece too. This added a lot of weight to the end of this whole bowl. So probably the first thing I do, because this right now is sitting in my shop. So here's the view of my shop. There's that piece sitting there. I'm going to put a 5-minute timer on here, and I'm going to head out to the shop. And when this timer ends, I'll cut to our shop, and I'll be up there to turn this thing. So here's 5 minutes. Everybody has a 5-minute break. You can use restroom, get yourself a cup of coffee, whatever you need to do, because that's what I'm going to do. And when we come back, I'll be in the shop. And Fred, you'll be in total control. You'll need to spotlight my camera, or whatever
Like
you.
I have you spotlighted right now.
Okay. And if we have any issues, yeah, I did load up Zoom on that computer up there. So if we have issues, I might dial in on Zoom. You might have to find me in the Zoom room and opening back up that way. But we'll try this way first and see how it works. This is our first shot. All right, and then you'll have to watch for questions just like earlier. I'm going to miss them. So if there's a question, you'll have to let me know. Okay?
Will do.
See you in 5 minutes. In 4 minutes and 4 seconds.
Yes. And I queue up the Jeopardy song for everybody, but I don't have it. So get that song worm in your head and take a break.
Hey, Fred, I might take a minute. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. You want to turn up your volume just a little bit?
How's that? Any better?
Yeah, that's good. Rudy, want me to highlight you or just go ahead? Just go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to apologize for being late. I had a phone call about photography job, and I had to keep on with it trying to get over here. But anyway, I may have to cut out because I actually have to get another couple of calls for some business stuff. But
Okay.
just wanted to say hello and appreciate the invite as always.
And Rudy, you're going to be doing an interview, you and Trent Bosch, Monday morning at 10 o'clock. So I'm hoping all the members here tune in. We'll be sending out notice Monday morning, and I imagine you have quite a bit to tell us Monday morning.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Trent's doing a really neat thing for a lot of turners, and he's hosting a demo for me, and I'll be doing just a teaser. I'll be doing one of my crotchwood wing platters next Tuesday, so we'll give you the information on Monday. I appreciate you guys doing this too, for sure.
How many spaces do you have left for that demo?
Last night I sent out a big blast, and there was 23 spaces left.
So if you would share that information with me, myself and Doug, we'll get that out to the membership also so they can check it out.
Okay, I'll do it. And I know probably some of you guys have received it from Trent because I know you participated in some of his previous demos before. So.
Okay, fantastic. And I think Doug is almost ready. And he still has 2 minutes to get ready. But thank you for calling in, Rudy, and we appreciate your participation with our club meetings, both the Grand River Woodturners and the West Michigan Woodturners.
I really enjoy it. And like we were talking about yesterday, I think this has really been fun for me. And I mentioned that in my little blast I sent out last night. for those people that haven't done it, I'm trying to encourage people to do it because it's really neat to see all of the people that I've met over all the years. And I don't ever get to see, years and years go by, and maybe in the next symposium I get to see people. But this is really neat. I've really enjoyed this.
Yes. And I'm going to take a second to segue because Doug still is about 1 minute and 15 seconds away. A lot of members probably are wondering where we're going with COVID and stuff. We don't know, but we know we're going to try to continue having meetings with Zoom. And hopefully by doing some of these extra things with our professional turners around the nation and also overseas with now Great Britain, the members see value in their club and continue supporting it, despite the fact that COVID is, throwing a curve at us. So I hope everybody is excited about what we're trying to do despite COVID. So appreciate it. Go ahead, Rudy.
I appreciate it, Frederick. I will add that if it wasn't for COVID, not that there's any maybe good coming out of this, but I would have never started doing this because, as you know, I've had dial-up DSL, a lot of you know, and it just wouldn't function well, and I never pursued it. But having this situation, I was able to start pursuing and pushing our local fiber company, Verizon, and was able to get this, and now I'm up and running with it. So it's really been somewhat of a blessing because when everybody pulled out of everything I had set up for the year, I had absolutely zero going on. So this has been just outstanding.
Yes, and it looks like Doug is ready. Thank you, Rudy.
Yeah. Has it been 2 minutes? Did my screen come on?
Exactly. I'll tell you what, you are
okay.
Good.
I had that on a remote control, but I couldn't see that from here. Hey, Rudy, I hear you're in the room.
I did, man. I apologize to everybody. Like I said, I got here a little late. I had a photography business call first thing this morning, which ran for almost an hour. But I'm enjoying the demo so far. This is really good. I've sort of had an understanding on how this is done. Maybe I will never do this, but it is really, really interesting, and your process is very, very well done.
I stole your camera idea after we talked yesterday. I saw that you had your camera mounted to your light. Yeah. I thought, hey, that's a good idea. So, yeah, so I stole that idea from you.
That's what we're here, man, sharing. It works really well.
Yeah, I know.
Pretty cool.
We're going to share ideas here.
Just kind of move this thing around.
Okay. Let's see. Before I get started here, you can see on here I have my largest rubber chucky jumbo chuck that I'm going to use to shore up the inside of this. So when I'm turning the outside, I'm going to. Do you guys hear that echo? Or is it just me? Okay, it's just me. I'm going to use this to stop the vibration when turning the outside, and then I'm going to use my my Carter steady rest to shore up the outside when I turn the inside. So I don't want any vibrations in here. So that's going to be the way to try to cut down on vibration. So let me get that in there. I've got all my bowl gouges sharpened up. And probably the first thing I'm going to do is start with my 1/2-inch bowl gouge. It's a V-cut, and I'm going to try to nibble away some of this mass up here. This is really big, and it's not completely level, so the first thing I'm going to do is cut away that to reduce some of the vibration that I'm going to get from this. Let's see what we got here.
Hey, Doug.
Yes.
Before you get started, there's a little bit of a problem with your picture-in-picture. The view that we're looking at you turning has actually got your chair in front of it. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but we're not looking at you so much as your chair.
My chair downstairs?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna miss a little bit of what you're doing.
Okay, hang on. Let me
I'm
go
actually
downstairs and see what's
Jay
up with
from
that.
Detroit. I'm actually looking straight down at the piece. I don't see a chair.
Well, he's got a picture in picture, and the straight down picture is good, but the one of him looking straight at him has got his chair back.
Okay,
Doug,
'cause I'm
again?
just seeing the piece itself.
Doug, your overlay of your chairs over your pick and pick on your smaller pick and pick.
Okay. All right, hang on. Let me run downstairs to see if there's an overlay on.
Thanks for bringing that up. I was watching the main picture there.
Hey, Rudy, you still there?
Rudy's no longer in the room.
Okay, thanks.
Hey, Don, I'm still here. I just had my mic muted, couldn't respond.
That's got it, Doug.
Oh, okay. Hey, Rudy, give me a call
All right.
later, will you?
Okay, I'll do it.
Thanks.
Okay, now can everybody see everything? Everybody can see you, Lynn?
Looks good, Doug.
Yes? Okay. All right, here we go. Any other questions? No? Okay.
Hey, Doug, what kind of speed are you setting?
Right now I'm at 835. And I just have a slight vibration, so this is good. Hang on, let me reposition that a little bit here. Might take a little bit more off that. This is my robust 5/8 bull gouge. I love it. It's a really nice bull gouge. It's a parabolical flute, so it does a really nice job. And you can get this from Don Doyle from Rubber Chucky. That's where I got this one from, was from Don. So if you're ready for a new bull gouge, get a hold of Don. He'll set you up. Cutting up here was easy because this is a segmented block. This is a side grain. I get into this area here, and I don't know if you can see it. Once you get into this area here, this is a lot of end grain. This is the same as any other bowl. There's a lot of end grain there that we're dealing with. So it starts to chatter as soon as I hit this area here. So let's go slow.
Doug, we have a question for you.
All right, what do we got? Yeah.
Question. It says he's pushing down the bowl where usually I work up the bowl on the outside. Is he just doing that since it is easier access right now? Since it is dry, is supporting fibers less important?
Because of the way this is glued up, everything is kind of, the support really doesn't matter. We got such small pieces here that I don't think it really matters. But once I get my shape here, I will take a final cut from the bottom up to try to get a little better of a cut. But I don't know if that's making a big difference right now. But also, I want to get this top turned while I still have mass at the bottom here. I don't want to cut away this and make this thinner yet, because this is supporting all this top part. So I really want to get my top almost down before I start cutting away this very bottom and making this small and having it to support the rest of this bowl. So yeah, I'm going downhill now until I get. Go ahead.
So you're minimizing vibration, right, and cavitation by leaving the bulk in the bottom yet?
Yes. Yes, I'm gonna get most of this cut before I get too much down here. At least get past all these grooves, because I have grooves here, glue joints and stuff that I want to get cleaned out before I remove too much at the bottom here. It's kind of like when I do a vessel. You know, when I do a vessel, the last thing I do is turn the bottom. You know, because you got all this vessel hanging out here. You know, so usually I'll get the whole vessel done, and then I'll come outside and finish the last couple inches out here. This doesn't make a lot of difference because I'm already really thin here, but I think any little bit of support I have, I want to keep. Okay? Trying to get the camera where you can see what I'm doing here.
That's it so far, Doug.
And I think now I can crank up the speed a little more. I'm up to about 1100 right now. Now I'm checking out my curve here. I want to start working into a curve. Starting from my outside rim here, I want a nice curve through this whole bottom here. So I'm gonna start working on that curve just a little bit. All right, now we can get a look at what this pattern is looking like here. Looking
Need to
good.
focus a little bit.
Is it out of focus?
A little bit, yep.
Is it focused
There you
now?
go. Yep.
I still don't have my curve like I want it. I need to bring in a little more in this section here. I think I still got a lot to work with. I think I still way over a ½ inch thick. So. Yes.
Question?
Okay.
It's coming in from Doug Smith. It says, I noticed Doug changes left-hand position from time to time. Is that for a different types of cup being made? I should have said left-hand grip.
It's just so that I can go uphill. You know, then this is kind of my best cut is going to be to go this direction. So you kind of got to be able to go both ways as a wood turner, you know, when you're turning, to be able to get in there. Plus, to get in here, I almost have to get this bottom from left-handed because I've got stuff in the way here. So when I get this very bottom piece here, I'm going to come in here left-handed too and swing this out. So it's just to get the best cut, you got to be able to go left and right-handed. So. So right now I'm going to come up.
Doug Smith, did that answer your question?
Hopefully that's a yes. Okay. All right. I'm getting close to my curve here. You guys can't probably see that very well, but it's got a fairly nice curve. I just want to get a little more of a slope here. I've got a high spot here that I want to take out. And I have some tear out in some areas here, so I'm hoping if I go the other direction here, I can remove some of that tear out. Yes.
Jeff Brill has a question
Yep.
for you. Go ahead,
Okay, Jeff.
There we go. I just wondered if you could hold a straight edge along it, and it would help us to see the curve.
Just put the tool rest up.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
I have just a slight curve on there.
Just, yeah, you can't get much. Okay.
No, I
thanks.
can't get a whole lot.
Yep.
Oh. Okay, now you can see I got a little more of a curve on that. But we're probably only 1/8 of an inch from inside to outside, you know, on this part. So I'm going to cut a little more on the bottom of this, and then I'll be going to the inside, I think. Well, I guess I got to cut this rim up here yet. So. Nope, I didn't get through it all. There, I got a little farther. I got a flat spot here I got to get through. Okay, I still got a little bit there, but I'm going to come back in on that so that this bottom has an angle on it. So I think I'll end up taking that out. Plus, I'm going to take off some of this bottom too. So bottom of my bowl will probably be 1/8 inch less than what this glue block is. And it makes me a little nervous. I got a gap there with no glue in it. So, and I got one mark right here, which incidentally, right above where my rubber chucky is on the inside, you can tell where the vibration starts, because as soon as I get above that spot out here, I got a vibration spot here. I might see if I can clean that up with a scraper. All right, that's pretty good. All right, now I'm going to get this top rim a little more. I got some flat spots out here. I still have some tape. And then we'll go to the inside. Still got a couple splat spots here. Still got a couple of flat spots. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to, I think at this point I'm going to hook up my steady rest on the outside here. And I'm going to do that while I still have my rubber chucky in here supporting it. That way I'm not moving this and changing my, my center point here. So. So now would be a great time for questions. Anybody got a question?
No, but I got a comment, Doug, if I can.
Go ahead.
We're hooking up the Carter Steady Rest. I've been working with the vendors who were taking part in the retreat again this year. I'm trying to get them to extend the discount so that y'all can take part in the buying process. that the retreat would normally have. The discount from Carter was huge. I'm working with them on it and contacting another vendor. So watch for that announcement too as we get closer to what would have been the date for the retreat.
Yes, that's when I buy most of my card.
Doug, have
Go
you ever
ahead.
screwed one of these up after all this work?
No, this is only my third one, but I'm really nervous every time I do them.
It scared the death out of me.
Yeah, I mean, you just got so much time into it, you know.
Doug Smith back here again. Doug, sorry I didn't ask my question well enough the first time. My question was referring to the position you hold your tool rest, your tool with the left hand. I notice sometimes that your fingers are underneath it with just your thumb above it, and then other times your hand is completely over the top of the tool with your thumb under it. And is there a reason for that?
Most of the time I have my hand, I know exactly what you're talking about. Most of the time I like to cut with my hand under, and I'm just guiding along. If my tool feels like it's bouncing, if the bowl starts chattering, then I'm going to put my hand on top and I'm just holding it down to the tool rest to stop the vibration and the chatter. And it helps to decrease the chatter in the wood. So, but I most of the time I like to just let the gouge just do the work. You know, as long as there's no chatter and it's sharp right now, I need to sharpen all these real quick. But if they're sharp, then it doesn't matter. But as I get farther and farther into it, I got to start holding the bowl gouge down because it's dull and it's starting to chatter. And I don't want it to bounce.
Okay, that explains it. Thank you.
Yep.
Doug?
Yeah.
This seems to be a project that takes a lot of time. Have you thought at all
Yes.
about what you'd have to charge to sell one of these?
$1,000, I think.
Yep. Yep.
Because I think I have about 40 to 50 hours at each one.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
And I'm trying to get 3 of them. I know. I truly believe you have to have 3 of something to sell one. So your customers have to have a choice. So I feel like I got to have 3 of these if I ever do a show.
Okay.
And I'll be lucky to sell one.
John has a question for you. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I was just curious. When you set up the steady rest that way, when you're mounting those wheels on an angle, does that put a lot of outside force on those rings?
Well, I'm not putting it that tight, and I don't know if you can see this here, but what I do is, can you see the wheel down here?
Yeah.
That one there?
Yeah.
I kind of put tension on the wheel and I spin this, and if the wheel skips, like right there just skipped, and I'm not putting a lot of tension on, I'm just putting a little on, then I'll just tighten it up at that spot where it skips. But I'm not like really putting pressure on it. I'm just kind of snugging it up. If you put a lot of pressure on it, and I had a cheaper set, a steady rest beforehand with like, I think they had cheaper wheels on them, like rollerblade wheels. I think these are better quality than rollerblade wheels, but it wore the wheel out. You know, if you get it too tight, it just wears out the wheel and leaves a gummy rubber all over everything. So I'm just kind of going through all 3 of the rollers, and I'm just putting a little bit of pressure on it, and I'm spinning to make sure they feel like they have fairly good contact, but I don't have excessive pressure on them. So I'm happy with that right now the way it is. So I'm going to pull out my rubber chucky. I'm going to get this out of the way.
Hey, Doug.
Yeah.
Which jumbo chucky did you use?
I use the flat one.
Oh. Okay, the no-nos, okay.
I like the no-nos. I have lots of your Chuckies, but I tend to use the no-nos for some reason. I like them better. I don't know why. Less weight maybe. So, but that did the job though. That kept the vibration down. I mean, otherwise, if I have to go with bigger now, I'll have a hunk of wood I stick in there, but the hunk of wood never goes in vibration free. It seems like there's always a vibration when I get done if I'm just using a hunk of wood. So let me.
Yeah, the other ones seem to work better for smaller openings.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I need it bigger. I use I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's a Robo Hippie rest. I like the Robo Hippie rest. They're really solid. I like the way they're bent. They seem to.
I have all three of those. I really like them too.
Yeah, I have two of them, and then I have a few other. I have a smaller robust that I like. So let's see. Can you guys see that? If I get in there, yes, you can. Let's see. I've got to sharpen my tools real quick here, so let me run through and sharpen these. Any more questions? Now would be a great time. This is only going to take me a minute here. So yeah, Ron was talking about the discount for the Carter tools. I have bought most of my Carter tools at Ron's retreat just because of the discount. It's huge. It makes them really affordable.
Doug, there are many people that came to the retreat just for the discount.
Yeah, I can see why.
Doug, Travis Hanson. Do you have any problems? Do you have any problems with the steady rest wanting to skate uphill on an inclined surface?
It probably is tending to, but I mean, I double tighten every one of these screws I can, so it's not going to be easy for it to move very far. I haven't noticed it skating uphill. It seems like it would want to skate downhill. Okay, so everything ready here. Let's see how this looks. Of course, we're incorporating a little more noise into the whole system here. To about 1,050 RPMs. And right now we're about 1/4 inch thickness here. So, and I got a little bit of a ridge right there. So I'm going to take that ridge out, and then I'm going to take one pass, and then I'm going to continue on down. I'm going to work in sections here, just like I would a natural edge bowl. I'd always work at the top and work my way down. Once I get past here, I don't plan on coming back. So. Yep, and this is going really good. I like the way it feels here. So let me get this in there. I might need to move this just a little bit so I don't get in the way.
Doug?
Yes.
That last cut, was your tool almost horizontal at the top? Looked like you were getting a really sheer cut.
Yeah, I tend to do that. I tend to get in there and ride it right on the very edge of it.
On the edge,
yes. Yeah. It looks like I'm about ready to get it. Looks like I'm on the edge of a really bad catch, right?
Well, you just have to be very, very careful.
Yeah.
Doug.
So, yes.
Doug,
Yes.
what type of grind do you have on your gouge?
These are Ellsworth grinds, I would guess you'd call that. If you can see it there.
You need to switch to your close-up camera, Doug, to show your gouge.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I had it on there. You're right. Okay. Yeah, here's the grind on that. Is it an Ellsworth grind? Hang on, I have a spot here. I need to mark with my pencil because once this fires up, once it fires up, I can't tell where I've been. So I'm really good up to about right here, and then there on up, I'm a little thick, so I need a mark in there so I can go. And I'm changing my bowl gouge just because I want a sharp one. So I'm changing to my robust gouge, which the other one was a V cut. This is more parabolic, it gets a little easier for me to get in here and start making these bends. So. Okay. Now I'm going to take out my line there. So the rest of it I kind of like. Well, now I'm kind of up to this spot right here. So. Got just a little bit of a high spot. Yeah, so right now I'm just marking my high spots. I want to take these out before I get too far to the bottom, because the farther I get to the bottom, the more of this up here is going to be resonating if I try to cut it. So. Okay, as we go farther into the rabbit hole here, okay. I'm trying to get to I'm trying to get to this piece right here on the inside, because this is the piece that I put that funky pattern on that I want to show through the bottom. So I'm not there yet. I'm at least an inch away. I might not make it. We'll see. But that's where I'm trying to get to. So. Well, there's your catch. Trying to get down to that bottom piece, which I don't think I can get there because I'm still an inch from it. So I guess I'm going to have to just clean this up and it'll be good. Yep, that was what I didn't want, was to have a straight pattern like that at the bottom. I was hoping to, whoops, can you see that? And that's what's on the bottom of all these bowls when you see them. They have just that straight grain. I was trying to get to that other piece, but I'm still 2 layers. I'm right here. Yeah, when you look at the outside here, I'm up to this layer right now. And maybe this one, but I've got to get through 2 more to get to this one, so I'm not going to get there. So I'm going to have to settle for this the way it is. I don't want to part this off until I can sand it off. So, but I can. You see the pattern in there? It's a nice pattern. I don't really see my U shape. Somehow I missed out on that. I don't get why I don't see that. But on the outside, I can see it more than the inside. You can see the where it takes a U-turn right here. But on the inside, it's well, you can see it a little bit there. Okay, well that's as far as I'm going to go today because I want to sand this up before I do anything else. Are there any questions? Is everybody there?
Yes, I'm here, Doug.
Oh, okay, it's really quiet. I thought maybe we lost the connection.
We're here.
Okay.
Looks good to me.
So yeah, can you see
Really
that?
nice
Like,
work.
thanks. So
No, it's Doug.
Doug, where did you start your U-turn at?
halfway up. If you look on, let me go to this camera. If you look at right here, you can see that it got there and then I went back. So I'm about halfway up. So if I put that spot on the inside here, it's right there. Well, hang on, let me go to the inside now. If I go to the inside, right here is where it turns around, but it's not so obvious on the inside that it went the other direction. Well, you can see it on these bigger blocks, I guess, that now they're going the other way. So
Yeah, looks good.
You can see it from farther away, though.
you're right. Now that I stand back and look at my computer, I can see it. So yeah, any questions? So everybody, you got 1 month, so let's see you make one for next month. Bring it to the meeting.
Great job, Doug.
It'll take more than a month just to do all the prep work.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's about it. So let me head on back downstairs because we have some prizes to give away.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Great job, bro.
Thanks, Doug.
And while Doug's headed upstairs, we've been monitoring the YouTube channel too. We did have a few viewers there, not a lot. I think most of them are here in the room. And that's a reminder, you can share the video with friends on YouTube. And also reference or refer back to it if you decide you want to take on this month-long project. And I think Doug's about ready. It sounds like he's putting on his mic upstairs. He's about ready to switch his camera over. There he is.
Here I am. Let's see. I forgot. I left my controller out in the garage, but I can do this from here. Let's see. We need to do some Wheel of Fortune. Let me find it on my computer here. I think we want this.
It's the wheel.
Yes. Okay. Everybody can hear me, right? We're back online. Let's see. I'm going to remove Bruce from the wheel, and we are now going to spin for a AZ Carbide $10 gift certificate. I have a. Where's my AZ Carbide? No, I left my controller out in the garage. I can't find stuff. But I want to play this. And of course, everybody, I would hope most people in this meeting realize that Ron Campbell, he owns AZ Carbide. They have carbides for absolutely every cutter out there that you have. So if you need a carbide, I see it all the time on the internet. Hey, I can't find a carbide for, for this, my whatever they have. And I always put in, AZ Carbide's name or website so they can find him, because he does have everything in the way of cutters. So okay, here we got to go for a $10 AZ Carbide gift certificate. Don Richards, are you? Do we have Don Richards in the room? I don't see him on the list here. I think we're going to remove his name unless he says something really fast. Don, are you there? All right, we're moving on. Ron Vincent.
I am here.
Yep, I seen you earlier. Yep. So Ron's got a $10 gift certificate, and then we'll remove his name, and then we're going to spin it again. And Jeff Craddock, I see Jeff's in the room.
I'm here.
All right, I'll forward those names to you, Ron, in case you didn't write them down, and then he'll be sending those out this week, or I think it's an email he sends you. All right, now we're moving on down. Let's see. We already did the rubber Chucky to Larry Truss, so now I have $30 of. Or no, let's do a $20 gift craft supplies, which is going to be 2 of their coupons. So we're going to do a 20, and then I'm going to do a 30 for our last one. So here's craft supplies for $20. Or no, I forgot. I got a woodcraft also. Let's do the craft supplies for $20.
Just leave it right there, Doug. It's on.
Was it on yours?
Yeah.
And I don't know if I didn't see Steve Babcock in the room. Steve's not in the room, are you, Steve? I didn't see you.
Well, there's another Steve here. Will that work?
Only if you have all the same letters.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's remove Steve Babcock and let's go for another one here. And I didn't see Dewey in the room either. Oh, we moved on. And I don't see Matt in the room either. Is Matt in the room? Okay, we're still trying to give away a $20 gift certificate to Craft Supplies. And here's another name I don't know if it's in the room. Marty Wright? I don't see Marty in the room either. Are you in the room, Marty? Okay. That one's out of here. Still trying to give away a $20 craft supplies certificate. Eventually, we'll have everybody off the wheel that's not in the room. Hey, Doug Brinks won. Hey, I'll take it.
The fix is in.
Yeah, the fix is in. So there's $20. So now I'm going to do a $20 woodcraft certificate. Whoops, I forgot to remove me from the. Well, we'll just. Yeah, we won't count that. So here's a $20 woodcraft certificate. And I did not see Fred Bivens in the room. Here we go again. Here we go again. Trying to find somebody in the room. And I didn't see Pete Vandermeer in the room. Is Pete here? All right. Eventually, we're going to find someone here. This is for the Woodcraft $20 certificate. All right. John Barron, I seen you in the room. So,
yep.
All right. Congratulations, John. There's the $20 craft supplies. So now the last one is going to be 30. That was Woodcraft. I'm sorry. That was $20 Woodcraft. Last one is $30 of craft supply certificates. So here we go. And I don't think Jeff Clark is in the room. Jeff, is he in the room? Anybody see Jeff? I don't see him. All right, here we go. $30 craft supplies on the line. Pete Vandermeer, did you just log in?
No, I've been here.
Were you here? Well,
yep.
Then I think you won the $20 craft supplies. Okay, so you got the $20. Jim Blas, are you still here?
You remove my name from the next spin then.
What's that?
You removed my name from this last spin then.
Yeah, once you win, you don't win again.
But you just took it away.
But you won. John Barons, you won the craft supplies. Were you saying that?
Yeah. Pete.
So Pete got the $20 craft supplies.
Woodcraft.
You won the Woodcraft. Jim Blas, you just won the $30 craft supplies, okay? Is Jim still in the room? I know he's in the room, so that's the rundown. John Barons won $20 craft supplies. Bruce Sinikowski won a $10 AZ carbide. Ron Vincent won a $10 AZ carbide. Jeff Craddock won a $10 AZ carbide. Larry Truss won the Rubber Chucky, Anything Chucky. Jim Blas, you won the $30 craft supplies, and Pete Vandermeer won the $20 craft supplies. Everybody got that?
Got it.
Anybody else have anything else before we adjourn this meeting?
Thank you for a great demonstration, Doug.
Great demonstration.
Great
demonstration.
Yeah, you're welcome. It was fun doing.
I don't know where you get the nerve to do that, but fantastic.
Oh, thanks.
Did you think
great.
about? Hey, Doug.
Yeah.
Did you think about truing up those rings while you were gluing them up a little bit so that you wouldn't have offset weight?
Yes, those on those layers that I made, the one layer, all the yellow layers I have on this schematic. Can you see my schematic?
Yeah.
All those yellow layers were thicker, almost twice as thick. So every time I put every time I put on one of those thick layers, I let it dry overnight and I trued it up, and then started gluing the next 7 rings.
Yeah, that's for leveling. But while you were doing that, on some of the ridges a little bit, so that you wouldn't have had as much offset weight while you were spinning.
No, I didn't take off any ridges until until today.
Okay.
I don't think it's that much. I mean, I got up to like 900 RPMs with no vibration. So that's pretty fast.
Blew up.
Any other questions?
Question here from a beginner, Doug Smith here.
Yeah, Doug.
I'm turning a lot of wet birch, and I'm having an awful problem with it fuzzing up. I guess that's the best description I can get. The end grain fuzzes up, and it's very difficult to sand it down. I've tried to use the scraping technique that I learned from Robo Hippie with a big scraper up on like a 45-degree angle, and it's still fuzzing up, and it's hard to finish.
Is it green?
Yes, very green.
Yeah, that's probably part of it. If I turn a green bowl I mean, even if I completely turn it, a lot of times I'll rough it out and then finish turning it 6 months later. But if I completely turn a green bowl, I'll park that thing for a week before I sand it. I don't know. What does everybody else do? I don't turn much green wood, but is that kind of the consensus?
I pretty much turn exclusively green wood, and I find sharp pools better than 1500 RPM typically. I don't really get a whole lot of that. And also, it's end grain, so it's not like you can cut supported fibers terribly well, but make sure you are cutting on the outside of the bowl. You are starting toward the headstock and then going away. And then on the inside of a bowl, come inward. Don't pull backwards, because then you're going to wind up with unsupported fibers.
Yeah. Do you sand it right away then too, or do you let it dry some?
If I get it down to about like a 1/4 inch wall or less, I'll usually let it sit on the lathe for a couple hours and then I'll sand it that day. If it's much more thicker than that, then I'll set it aside, use a vacuum chuck to put it back on the lathe to sand.
I've tried letting it sit a few days, also putting some sanding sealer on it to kind of stiffen up the fibers. I'm still not having the sort of luck that I think I should, getting it to my novice status.
Yeah, I wouldn't put sanding sealer on while the wood's wet. You're going to get a blushing and anything there, I think, overall. But so wait until it's dry before you do a sanding sealer.
Okay, that helps.
How are you sanding, Doug? Are you sanding like with the lathe on?
I'm tried with the lathe on, with the lathe off, with just sheets of paper, and also with the rotary in my drill with the round discs.
Okay, because I posted a video to our Facebook page a week ago on sanding.
I saw that.
Okay, that's my sanding method. Where you know, and I don't typically, unless it's a spindle, I don't typically sand with a lathe on. You know, you tend to get you know, the marks down there in the in your ingrain. So
yeah, I've been using with the lathe on with sheets of paper, and then with the rotary with the drill with the lathe off, and that helps a little bit. It hasn't given me the results I was hoping for.
Okay.
Doug, can I comment on the sanding?
Yeah.
I do 90% of my work is done wet wood, and wet wood almost finish. I sand wet wood with wet. Add a little add water and a couple drops of dish soap, and then start sanding. The dish soap is a lubricant, keeps your sandpaper from building up, and dip it in and out. And I do all my sanding that way now. It was something I learned at the retreat a couple years ago, and it's great for sanding wet wood. This Madrone, you'll get a slurry buildup, you're not breathing dust, and the dish soap works great.
How do you apply that?
I keep dipping my sandpaper into a little bowl of soap and water.
Okay.
And I'll rinse it out. I'm using a product similar to Abranet, which is ProNet from Wood Turning Wonders, and it washes right out. Or if I'm using sandpaper and sanding disc on my Fordham, my 2-inch, I keep dipping it in and out. Okay. Or if I'm doing the inside, which I do the inside of all my small vessels, I will actually pour some of that water and dish soap in there, and it builds up some foam, and yeah, you got to keep going in and out. But I know Madrone is different, but I've sanded that way for 2 years now, Doug.
Thank you very much.
I have a question for the room. Who's left in the room? We've had discussion with some of the vendors that are supplying some of the door prizes, and a few that haven't yet. And we've talked to them about possibly having, not as affiliated with any club specifically, but we've been talking about having a vendor showcase where a couple of vendors once a week come in and demonstrate their products, and the clubs would be welcome to send out a notice to their membership to attend the Zoom meeting if they so chose. Is there an interest in doing something like that by the people that are present here now? If
I
there
would
was,
enjoy that.
what?
I would enjoy that.
Anybody else?
Yes, definitely me.
I
Yes,
agree. Yeah,
I would.
So we, another project that we're trying to, work on as far as value added for the clubs, and we'll let you know when we get our first one up and running.
Great.
Okay.
So
Thanks.
Lost your audio.
I don't think anybody's talking, or is somebody talking?
Oh, okay.
It's just dead silence. We're all.
I think we're all zoomed out.
We must be zoomed out. Yeah. Oh.
I'd like to thank Doug. I know all the effort that he puts into, in watching some of his practice sessions. I don't think the membership realizes the effort that Doug's put into attending training sessions and Zoom sessions, and the fact that he goes out and attends other demonstrations to pick their brain on how to do it. I think we have a wonderful club president and leadership team in our Grand Rapids club. So a big thank you to all of them.
Second the motion.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks.
I do it because I love it,
Yes.
We trying my best to keep the club viable, to keep value in this, so that every week maybe we'll have a few more people turn up, so it's kind of my goal.
The unique thing, I've had a lot of discussion with Barbara Dill, Rudy Lopez, Phil Irons over in the UK in the last few weeks, in different Zoom meetings I've attended. And the neat thing about this platform, is uncomfortable as it might be compared to a regular club meeting, is the fact that it gives us resources that are not limited by geographical boundaries. I'm looking at Jay from the Detroit area. I know he's a recent member, joined today. He sent a check out to the Kalamazoo Club today. So it allows many of us to belong to multiple clubs, even though we physically can't drive to them. And I encourage everybody, I'm encouraging our Kalamazoo members, I'm encouraging you, go out there and check out the other clubs. It's fairly inexpensive to join them also. Not only the Kalamazoo Club, but I just joined the AWGB, Association of Woodturners of Great Britain. And no offense to the AAW, but it's cheaper to join with an overseas membership to join the AWGB than it is to join our own AAW here in this country. And they have a lot of resources in the sharing that's possible, the synergy and the collaboration that I think we've seen in such a short period of time, that Rudy Lopez can come in, or last week we had Alan Lacer at the Kalamazoo Club. It's a value added that you can't get without belonging to a club, is my point. So please consider not only, rejoining this club come time this November and December, but consider joining some other clubs. It's a lot of bang for your buck. So